So on today's video, we're going to be talking about the equipment that I like to use, or that I do use when I go camping. So here we go. Well, it's morning. So, I had to adjust my chicken game. Okay, so what do I use for equipment? Well, starting, guessing in order of largest to smallest, I have my axe. This is a rather big one. This is like a full-size axe. I'm actually considering getting what's referred to as a camp axe. So it's got a similar head on it like this, but it's, the handle is not quite so, big. But this is what I have, so that's what I use. And I use that obviously for the big splitting chores. When I get, logs or whatever for a big campfire that need to be split, or if I'm gonna do a Canadian torch, a Canadian candle or a Swedish torch, I use that as one of the tools. And hand in hand with that is this guy here. This is a wooden wedge. When you're splitting wood, you want to make sure that you're, ideally you're either wearing eye protection, obviously, to do so. I don't always use it, and this helps cut down on worrying about things flying up and hitting you in the face or eyes, because this is just a wooden wedge. And basically I get the wood where it begins to split, and if there's if it's really a piece of wood that has a lot of knots in it, or is particularly tough to split, or baton, I put this guy in there, and then that allows me to basically split the wood open a little bit more, using either the back of the axe or my tomahawk. I got a small tomahawk because it was kind of a cross between, for me, a cross between a hatchet and a hammer. So I have a way of putting down tent stakes, or tarp shelter stakes, without having to have two different items, or a smaller hatchet. So this is a Chogan T-Hawk is what it's called. I got this at Outdoor World. You can go online. You can do a Google search or an Amazon search. Chogan. It's Woods Chogan. T-Hawk is what this. They make a couple of different versions of this. One without a hammer on it, and a different blade style, what's called a beard. It kind of drops down. This has got a small kind of beard on it. So that's that, and that's basically my processing like larger pieces of wood, or if I take a piece of deadfall, and I need to kind of chop it up, I'm going to use the little one probably if it's not that big of a piece. If it's a bigger piece, obviously I'm going to use the axe to get that job done. And so that's the chopping and the splitting aspect of how I process the larger pieces of wood. And then I have this tool here. This is my utility knife. This is, it says that this point out here is for like a chisel or a digging tool. I mean, if I need to, I kind of would. I don't really do that. This is kind of a chisel on the end. This is kind of a digging tool where it's like flat here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's kind of flat out here, so there's no edge on it. It's flat on the end, it's blunt. So they say that's a digging tool. This part right here along this edge is it says it's supposed to be a chisel. You can cut cordage with this up here. It says for a bunch of other different things. This edge is bladed and it's kind of sharp. I use that basically for trimming. So I got small branches. If I'm making a tent stake or a tarp stake or something like that, or if I'm making a pole to hold up the edge of the tarp, then I'll use this down here to kind of make it nice and clean it all off, and sharpen the end of it so that it sticks into the ground and holds ground. And then this up here, this serrated edge along the top, it says it's a saw. I haven't really used it as a saw. I watched some of the videos online where other people did use it as a saw, and it really wasn't effective. So they also, a lot of the other people kind of referred to this as a machete. I don't really would consider this a machete. It's just not a machete. It's more of a utility knife. It's a multi-purpose knife. It's a little bit longer than your average utility knife. So it's got a nice plastic handle on there, which I might put some cordage on there. I don't know, but it's a nice plastic handle. It's a non-slip kind of a grip. It came with this little guy on the end. It's just a little. It said it's a spear tip, so I might do a modification of my walking stick to make it possible for me to add this to it. And I've never really seen any fish in the water in front of me. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough, but I mean, I would think that would be what this would be for, spear fishing, kind of like, you can spear a fish that's like right there on the water. I'm not a huge fan of fish, so I mean, I don't dislike fish or anything like that, but as far as the taste goes, I've always had texture issues with fish as far as a food source goes. I mean, if I'm hungry and there's nothing else, sure, no problem. So this is made by Calmus, which is a long-running. I think when I looked at their website or whatever, they have been around since like 1875 or something like that, 1876. I'm not really positive. But this is just an entry-priced, I guess you would say. All of this stuff is pretty much entry-priced. I mean, this is it's like a $26 like tool. Is it the best thing in the world? Not by any stretch of the imagination. It's not what you're going to see any of the other guys who are, I'm going to say arguably better at this than I am. But they're, it's not like some super tool. It's a tool that I think gets the job done. It didn't cost me a lot of cash out of pocket. Same thing with the Chogan. Didn't cost me a lot of cash out of pocket. All of these tools are just, they get the job done. There's a different tool for every purpose, and so these things get the job done. The pocket knife that I carry is it's just a standard little pocket knife. I got this for I think it was like $12. It's made by Coast, and it is an FX411, I guess is what it is. It locks into place. I've never had a problem with the lock on this, knock on wood. It's got a nice walnut kind of a handle on it, and a clip. The only things on this that I have had a little bit of issue with, but I mean it's a $12 knife, is the clip gets loose sometimes, and I just basically went to Menards and bought, or any hardware store, and bought the star tool that tightens these little things on here. And the same thing with the little, you can see the little star tool and that circle there at the end, just to tighten it up every now and then. And I consider that just regular. That's just regular maintenance. That's taking care of your tools. That to me is the difference between, not always, but a lot of times, getting something that is, an entry-level tool that will last you for a long time, is taking care of it. Take care of your tools. If you're going to rely on them, take care of them. I see a lot of guys doing videos on, on tool reviews and everything, and they, say the pros and cons about it. Well, this is $100 saw, but it's so much better than this saw, and you know what I mean. They never talk about what it takes to take care of it. Speaking of saws, this saw right here is a $10 Ozark Trails, Menards. This guy, this cost me like $9.99 at Walmart. This is an Ozark Trails pull saw. It's got a lock on it, so it locks into place. You take care of your tools and they'll take care of you. So, keep this tight. Have I seen saws that are better than this? Yes, I have. But they're better in the, they work better probably because it's, they're a lot longer. This is like 8 to 10 inches as far as like the tooth on it. So when you draw on it, you're drawing like 8 to 10 inches. The other saw that, I see people using, the name escapes me right now, of that saw, but it's 16 inches long, so it's gonna cut better. It's a more professional saw. It's also $100. It comes with a neat sheath to put it into. This didn't come with a sheath. This just locks into place, locks shut, and that's it. But this is all entry-level stuff. All of this stuff is going to work really good for you on a low budget. If you're, just wanting to get out there and get started and get doing this, like I've been doing this a long time, but I've never really felt the need to go out and purchase, super expensive equipment. I just kind of believe that if you take care of the equipment that you have, as long as it's, if it's garbage, it's going to break down within the first beginnings of usage of it, and you're either going to have to adjust how you use it, and make sure that you're using it appropriately, the right tool for the job, or you're going to have to, get something different. So the next thing that I have is my pruning equipment. So I got this. I think I got this at a local hardware store or whatever. It was like $5, maybe $7. I got another pair here. I probably picked these up at a yard sale, and these things cost me probably, I don't know, $1 or so. It's just a pair of shears. This is for you want to cut those branches. You go out and you grab a bunch of dead stuff that's, it's all piled up next to you. You want to process the little twigs off of it, or the stuff that is, bigger around. This will give you a good start on that and give you a good way to cut that up. So a lot of the guys that I talk to, they don't really. I've seen some guys on YouTube, etc., etc. They don't really carry a lot of this stuff. It's not stuff that they carry with them. It's kind of all a personal choice. I don't really prescribe to the whole doomsday thing, but I do prescribe to the notion that if you're going to be driving somewhere's remote, you know you're going to be there. So while you're driving somewhere's remote, maybe you should have something that's appropriate to the area that you're in, so that in the event that something does happen, you're prepared at least a little bit for it. You know, if you're driving in long country stretches of open road where the snow drifts in the wintertime, maybe it's a good idea to have an extra blanket in your vehicle, and maybe an extra coat, and, you know, gloves, being fitted appropriately, you know, wearing jeans, and you know, having the appropriate stuff for the weather that you're going to be in. Not wearing flip-flops and shorts because, you know, you're driving through a long remote region to go visit somebody, and you know, just want to be comfortable. Yeah, well then if something happens while you're on the way there, guess what? Now you're in flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt, and you're stuck in, you know, 0-degree weather in a snowdrift somewhere. So same thing. If you're driving through Alberta, Canada, going on a trip to visit a friend who lives somewhere in a residential area on the other side of it, but you know you're going to be driving through a long area of where there's nothing, where there's nobody, maybe it's a good idea to have, you know, some of this stuff so that way you're ready to camp. So that's just my philosophy. Another thing that I have is my shovel, my trenching tool. So this trenching tool, basically, it all packs down into this little pack thing here. It's probably 2 pieces, 6 inches each, 8 inches each. It's screwed together, and it's about probably 4 inches across, and it's got a little screw down here to tighten it up and close it. You can make this into a trenching tool. The trench, it has a little spike off the back of it, so if you need to, you know, you need to spike into the ground to dig around some rocks or get some, you know, more direct action on some stuff, you got that. And it also opens up into like a shovel. It's got a little serrated edge on the side over here, so in case you gotta whack through some roots or something like that. Yeah, I would say that's about it. But it's a nice little tool. It's convenient, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. Another thing that I never really concern myself with too much either is I never really concern myself too much with weight. Hikers, I know, they concern themselves with the weight of things quite a bit, and I mean, for good reason. They're hiking long distances and they're carrying a lot of stuff. You want to carry just what you need and not have, you know, a lot of heavy things. I'm usually camping in areas where I have my vehicle with me for the most part. And if I'm going to pack something in, generally it's because I got a reason for it. If I'm bringing something that I specifically want to cook, and I need a specific thing that I have to cook it on, then I'm going to bring that specific thing. So I'm not really concerned with it. I have it because I need it. So that is that. Then the next thing in the processing wood and the fire building tools is this little pack here. This is just this little container, this little Velcroed container is just something that came with a set of sheets that I had, and so the pillowcases were like folded up and stuffed into this, and I just thought it was a nifty thing, and I like reusing nifty containers. The more you get to know me, you'll know that I will buy something, whether it is a beverage, whether it is a food item, whether it is a tool, whether it is whatever, for the nifty case that it comes in, or for the nifty packaging and the bottling that it's in, purely alone. Yeah. I think I get that from my grandfather. My grandfather was grew up in the Depression, and he never threw anything out. And he had tons of nifty little jars and all kinds of things, and he always, you know, had screws and different other things put in them. And so that stuck with me. I've bought specific teas just because it came in a cool metal container. So, speaking of cool metal containers or cool containers, this little item right here that I have packed in there, there was a Guinness gift set that came with a Guinness lighter, torch lighter, and bottle opener. And this thing just, it's waterproof, it's small, and it has a little loop on it there. So this was something I had to have, and now here it is. I use it for here. So in this here, I have some cordage that I use if I need to make a bow drill type of a fire making setup. I have a pencil in here in case I need to write, and also I took it out of here because I was using it, but also I have a pencil sharpener that I will use. And basically what the pencil sharpener allows me to do is if I can't find any like little shreds of wood small enough to begin the fire, like, you know, a birch bark or what have you, I can shave this down with the pencil sharpener and get a bunch of like little teeny scraps of really small, really fine stuff that will light easily, and it's dry because it's inside of this case all the time. I also in here have a candle. I have a little tea candle that I put in here. This is you know, if you carry a lighter, I have a lighter in here. You can basically, if you can get inside your tent, if it's windy or rainy or whatever, you can get inside your tent or get underneath a tarp. You can light this tea candle, keep it in an area where it's not going to get put out, and that will that will have another way of you having a source to light fire with. So I have it's like a carabiner clip that I put in there. I just thought it was neat, so, and I stuck it in here because you never know when you're going to need a carabiner clip. So I have a magnesium block. This is a magnesium block that I got from Menards. No, I'm sorry, I got this from Walmart. So it comes with the little ferrule strip on it, but I used it to the point where it kind of like came off of there. I think this will, I think I have to like maybe use another thingy here, like maybe this is, yeah, this was supposed to be, it's not a very good ferro rod. It works for a little bit, but this is what you really, you want to keep this, the magnesium, because you can scrape a bunch of the magnesium off of here onto your little cup container that you make out of paper, or that you make out of a leaf, or you just pile up in a little area, and when you take your ferro rod and hit the spark onto that, that magnesium will light up, making it a lot easier for you to light a fire. So that's what I have in here. And also I have this little container here, which is basically, it's just two of these little tea candles, one on top of the other. And so what I've done is I've taped them together with this 100-mile-an-hour tape or duct tape. And then inside of here I have some lint. This is just out of the dryer. This makes really good fire starting material. So I put that in there. And this is kind of like an emergency backup kind of a thing. If I really need to have a fire, I can use this as an emergency backup kind of a kit to get a fire going. So that's what that is. So I'm just going to put this back in here. And that is that kit, which I put in here. And then also additionally in here, I've just got some, it's basically crepe paper. And it's inside of this plastic baggie here to keep it dry and to keep the moisture away from it. And I can basically tear off, any little pieces of this that I need to make a fire. But I just kind of put that in my backpack. All of this stuff I would carry in my backpack. All of this stuff would go in my backpack, and then that way it's with me wherever I go. So that's that. Another thing that I have here, this is wind checker. Basically, if you get any kind of a little container like this, you can put talcum powder in it. That's basically all this is talcum powder. But basically, let me get this down, shake the talcum powder down to the end, and now we're just gonna go. Now you can see the wind's blowing that way. Talcum powder blowing in the wind is going to give you a really good indication of what way the wind is blowing. Why is that going to be important? Because you're going to want to know when you're setting up your fire where the wind is blowing from, so that way you can prepare to kind of block that wind. If you're trying to build a fire, is going to be really important to know. If you're setting up your shelter, you're going to want to kind of know what direction the wind is coming from, so that way you know when the wind blows where you have to make sure that the strongest support is going to be on it. If you got the strongest support on the back part of it and the wind is blowing on the front part of your shelter, you're going to find out real fast that isn't going to work. So the next thing I have here, this is bear spray. When you stay out in the woods with bears, you need to make sure you have bear spray. They make a new, there's a new one that I want to get. It's a bigger canister. This is really minuscule, but it's peppery. So that basically is what you're going to use if a bear comes after you, or if a bear's in the area and starts to do like a charge or whatever. You don't run, because if you run, you activate their predator sense and you become prey. And they're like, oh, you're gonna run? Okay, then you must be fucking food. Whereas if you stand and make yourself as big as possible, then and use your bear spray, then they're probably gonna back down. I don't know about grizzly bears. I've never run into an actual grizzly bear, but I've run into black bears, and depending on the area, black bears, they don't really want to be around you anyways. They'll hear you talking, they'd hear me talking, and they'd go, oh, there's people there, and they would go around me. So that's that. Another thing I carry in my pack is, this is, again, I bought those sheets, and so this is a pack that comes with sheets. And so in here I have a spare shirt, and this is bug netting. So the bug netting itself was something that I got at Walmart. And it's just this really fine netting, right? You can kind of see through it a little bit. And I've got a floppy, they call it a boonie hat, inside of here. And so basically I would put this on, and don't keep that there. And then you take this and you tuck that down inside of your shirt like that. And then probably not have the tag in front, but you get the picture. You go like that, and now you can wander around without the bugs trying to eat you. So, and it keeps the bugs off you. So, but that's important. And then obviously, the only other thing I have in here is just a spare shirt. You've seen a shirt, you know what they do. So that is that. And then the backpack that I use is, they call this I guess when I bought it, they said it was a 3-day pack. This is a 3-day pack. It's got these mollies on it for connecting other gear. So if I wanted to, I could connect my shovel on the outside of it, my tree trimming stuff on the outside of it, my utility knife. I stuck my my hatchet down in some of those there, but inside it's got some, it's got enough pockets in here. I've got a little first aid kit in here, which basically just amounts to band-aids. So sometimes when you're out, I don't know if you can see that or not, you scratch yourself and whatever. And it's got the one big pocket in the front right here. It's got a smaller pocket up on the top up here, so you can put some smaller things in here. I've got my name tag on there, just Velcro, kind of Velcro's on there. Inside, it opens all the way down. And so inside I've got a little wipey tool. I've got a tick remover, just in case you get a tick on you. You can get that off. I've got a little kind of a screwdriver pry tool. It's a little one. Some rubber bands for some of the other things that I need. It's got a little thing in there. I got a little pocket for my maps. I got all my maps in here of some of the places that I go to usually. Obviously, I also have my binoculars in here. So I'm thinking about getting a bigger pack because some of the places that I go to, I'm thinking about just packing in. I got extra warm clothes in here, so if it gets cold at night, I can put on a thermal shirt for that. But I mean, this is just a small pack. This does me fine for what I do. Like I said, normally speaking, I have my vehicle right there with me, so I'm not really too concerned about not having what I need. I've voiced that opinion, and it's just that it's my opinion. Inevitably, somebody's going to disagree with me, and that's fine. It's, everybody's welcome to their opinion. I'm of the belief that if I don't agree with you, we can agree to disagree on it. That's no big deal. And if somebody believes differently and they want to leave a comment in the comment section about how I do things or whatever, if they've got a good idea and I recognize value in that idea, then I'm going to use it. I'm going to adopt it. I'm going to be like, oh, well, that makes sense. And so then I'm going to use it. But that is the processing equipment that I use. But if you liked this video, I'm just going to ask that you hit the subscribe button. What do they say? Smash that subscribe button and click the notifications so you get notified when I release a new video. And give a thumbs up to this video if you liked it. Maybe share it to somebody who you think might benefit from seeing what a basic setup is done by a basic guy camping in a basic place. So I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.